This week on Backstage at the Doudna, we meet the dancers and creative forces behind DanceWorks Chicago. In April of 2013, this young company of 6 hand-picked dancers performed on our theater stage, all of them between the ages of 18 and 24. Vibrant and innovative, the show featured a diverse repertoire of contemporary dance from established choreographers. We sat down with 2 of the dancers, as well as Artistic Director Julie Nakagawa, to learn more about what it takes to build a dance company and bring an artistic vision to the stage. First, thanks for being here, and thanks for bringing DanceWorks for the first time to the Doudna.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invitation. We're very excited to be here. It's a beautiful spring day, so we hope to add to that a little bit this evening.
So how is DanceWorks structured? A small company, only 6 members. Give us a little bit of insight into how DanceWorks works.
So we have artistic leadership and co-founders are myself as artistic director and Andreas Butcher as CEO. Our board president is also co-founder. Her name is Pamela Crutchfield. And we focus on the development of young artists, 6 artists at a time, because we feel like it's very important to help each dancer on their individual and unique journey. So gracing the stage tonight will be 6 dancers from all parts of the country who are on their journey through dance.
Sounds like there must be some kind of magic in the number 6 for you, at least, instead of like 5 or 8.
There is a magic number, actually, and I think, and it's probably not good that I'm saying this on camera, I think it was The Tipping Point, the book The Tipping Point, which talks about the power of 6 business organizationally. And once you get over 6 sort of departments or compartments, things start to lose their personality and their uniqueness, and your ability to oversee them in a way that feels personal as well as meaningful diminishes. So 6 seems to work for us. And then there's the sort of boring logistical reason that when we came here from Chicago, for example, we rented a minivan. There's a driver and 6 passengers. So once you get over 6, then you have to rent 2 minivans.
Yeah, so in your company, you do have an even split between the 6 of 3 males and 3 females. Is that what you're going for? Is that part of the design, or does that just happen as you choose dancers?
We try to make it equitable, so 3 men and 3 women. And our tagline is always moving, and we mean that in lots of different ways. And so the composition of the company is very fluid, and it's fluid by design. So we're constantly welcoming new members to the DanceWorks family, and also bidding them farewell as they go out into their broader dance community.
DanceWorks is relatively new on the dance scene. When did you start?
We're actually in our 6th season with 6 dancers, and we have 6 dances to present tonight.
It's
so it's perfect and all aligned. So yes, we're in our 6th season, and we are excited to be able to do what we do in the Chicago area locally, nationally, and internationally.
So what would you tell us that makes DanceWorks unique, that sets it apart from other dance companies?
I think the thing that makes us unique really is a nuanced focus internally that hopefully manifests in whatever we do. And that would be that most dance companies, for good reason, their goal is to present dance on stage. And our goal is to present dancers on stage. So our product, instead of being the dance, and we obviously have dances to present, and we obviously hope that they will be received well. But really our goal and our investment in lots of different ways are the people, are the individual artists. So through each program and through each journey of the creation of every dance, the dancers are really encouraged to bring their unique voices. And those unique voices are supported by technique, by artistic investigation in terms of going out and seeing other dance companies or going to museums. And we do these field trips so that they can increase their artistic investigation and become a richer artist. So, and as I said, hopefully that translates into every masterclass that we present, every performance, every post-show talkback, and that you really feel that you get to know these artists.
maybe because you're just a few years old that you've selected younger dancers, or is that part of the mission? Talk about how you go about selecting dancers for DanceWorks.
Our goal really and our passion is for the early career artist. So on the audition listing, it'll say like between 18 and 24. We don't card people at the door, but really it's the artist that's on the beginning part of that arc. Because I think in looking at the dance community, I mean, when you think about 6 years ago when we started, I mean, that was the beginning of economic turmoil. And what that means in the dance world is that there are less resources. What that means for dancers is that sometimes a really gifted dancer, because of a lack of resources of space, of time, of rehearsal people, if they're not going to make it right then and there, they're not going to make it in that organization. And for us, really, we try to support the gift of time to, again, provide an environment or a laboratory, really, where these dancers can collect a few more tools and make a really educated choice as they contemplate their next steps as to where they want to be, where their heart is, and make sure that they have the tools that they need to get them there. So, so we will always really work with this group of young people. I mean, the challenge, a lot of other directors will say, oh my gosh, how can you deal with turnover? And honestly, they have turnover too, but we have it by design. So for us, it's anticipated. So I think anything that's anticipated, obviously, I think is easier to manage than something that's not. So to me, it's, the challenge, in every challenge there's an opportunity. And I think the opportunity exists for the dancers also. When they come in, everyone has the opportunity or the challenge to be the new person. We all know how it is to be the new person. Like sometimes it's great, sometimes not so good. And then they all have the chance to be not the new person anymore and to help the new person or to welcome the new person. And then most of them also have the chance to be the senior member or the senior leader. And that's really important too, because at any stage or any age, really, you can be a mentor. And it's really important to be a good, well, we talk about dance citizenship. So a good dance citizen, not only to the people that are in your immediate DanceWorks Chicago family, but to the broader dance community as well, which to us includes everybody, from presenters to audience to the crew to writers to funders, because we all need each other in the ecology to survive.
I grew up in New Jersey, started dancing at age 3. And I trained at the New Jersey Dance Theater Ensemble under the direction of Nancy Toronto. And I started seriously training at age 10 with classical ballet and contemporary modern. And then I went to college at SUNY Purchase and I got my BFA in dance.
Again, I was from Chicago. I started at the age of 15. For different reasons. I just watch music videos all the time, and I would do it like in the mirror, and I was just like, okay, I have to start doing something. So I started like with a hip hop group in high school, and from there I met different people who showed me different programs. And I think my junior or senior year I did like a Gallery 37 program, but I started my serious training when I went to college, which was Northern Illinois University, and that's where we did, ballet, modern, and all those strict techniques.
Great, and you'll still take it out. $100
So how did each of you get hooked up with this particular company, DanceWorks Chicago?
I actually didn't hear about DanceWorks Chicago until I participated in a workshop in New York. And I met Julie at the workshop, and she invited me to come take the audition in Chicago, and everything clicked from there. So that's how I got involved with the company.
And it was my senior year of college. We had to start looking for companies just to go out and audition. And I always looked at Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater because that's like my future goal. And I looked through all of their bios and I read that one girl, Gray, came from DanceWorks Chicago. Then I started looking into DanceWorks Chicago because it was in Chicago. And they had an audition in February, I think. February or March, and I went. I didn't make it, I made it all the way at the end, but I didn't get the contract the first time. But then I continued conversations with her, came back, took class, and eventually got here.
So as a small company, DanceWorks, just 6 of you, What are some of the strengths and challenges that you might find being in a small company versus in a company that has 2 or 3 offshoots, maybe 20, 30, maybe up to 50 people?
Well, this is both of our first professional experiences, so I can't really compare it to anything else, but I must say that working as a group of 6, you get to know each other a lot better, you get to perform everything in the repertory, and you get more one-on-one time with Julie and teachers, so it's just more of a personal experience.
And I think a disadvantage could be, if you didn't like the people, it'd be very hard to come to work every day and be like, okay, oh my God, you're the only person that I get to see. Thankfully, we don't have that problem because I think Julie hires really good people because it's not just about the dancing or the technique. It's about, she looks at the dancer holistically, and in the interview process, she asks you so many questions just to see how you vibe with her, how she thinks she would vibe with the group. So thankfully, we all get along. I think we're all very intelligent. We all respect one another in each other's space because we're together all the time because we do trips, we do teach master classes, we do a lot together, so.
Is there a signature style to DanceWorks? How would you describe it?
Well, I think, this is how I would describe it, because I think when I think of DanceWorks, I think of the words new, innovative. So I think of contemporary dance, because that's the route that dance is going these days. And I think our set of repertoire is very eclectic. Like we have everything from jazz to almost contemporary ballet. Everything's just like what I would describe as very contemporary. A mixture of different techniques.
Yeah, I don't think I could categorize DanceWorks as one signature style. I think it's a very fresh company, and we all have to do everything. We can do everything, and I think that's the best part about DanceWorks.
For the novices who may not be real familiar with dance, Steffi, you came from the ballet tradition. Demetrius, you came from more of the street tradition. How would you describe contemporary for those of us who just need to know what contemporary is?
Oh, this is an ongoing question, Mr. Dwight. Contemporary, I think contemporary means a lot of different things to everyone. Contemporary to some people could just be flexing your foot. Contemporary to some people could be rolling on the floor and not standing on your whole 2 feet like you do in ballet all the time. I think contemporary is forever evolving, and it means a lot of different things to everyone. So to me it means just dancing, because I like to say my favorite type of dance is contemporary, which is everything.
For me, I think it can also depend on your geographic what it means, because I think contemporary dance in Chicago or New York may be something different from contemporary dance in like LA scene, because it's like a more hip-hop-ish in a way. Yeah, and a little more commercial. But I think in general, contemporary is just using the ballet aesthetic and the classical line, but then throwing in things like a jazz torso or what's a different style? I can't think of another style right now, but throwing in something different in the mix of like you're not just doing ballet, but you want to see the lines, but you want to see how you can move through those lines. It's not about being as placed as ballet once was. So you're fusing the techniques in a sense.
So tell us about tonight's show and what you're going to be doing here at the Doudna.
My favorite, well actually I have 2. I'm going to tell you both of them. I love Addio Amore, which is the closer for the first act. We're wearing petticoats, and the creation process was a lot of fun for me. We were actually both in the creation process at Western Michigan University for 2 weeks with the choreographer Nellie Von Bommel and the students of Western Michigan University. So it was a huge, fun environment for us to create with the students and explore the movement, and I just think that's a fun piece. And I also love Nocturnal Sense, which opens the second act. choreographed by James Gregg. I was also an original member for the creation process, and he's just a very intelligent person, so I loved working with him. He's really creative. He loves using all parts of your body. It's a very intricate movement. So those are my two favorite pieces for tonight's program.
And I think from tonight's program, if I was going to select my favorite, I would say call the whole thing off. It's been a love-hate relationship with that piece, only because I'm not a jazz dancer, and I wouldn't call myself a jazz dancer. It's not something I'm necessarily comfortable with. But I've done the piece so many times that I've learned how to find myself in the way that I move and fit that with what the choreographer vision, which was Harrison McIndowney. And it's very fun being able to, because I've been able to partner with every girl, except for Steffi, which we're going to do on Sunday for the first time. And it's just been, you always get a different experience partnering with someone different, and you learn something different based off the venues too. Like when you're doing a kids show, you have to relate to the audience differently, or when you're doing, a more adult show, because some of the things or themes in the piece are a little mature. There we go. So it's always a new experience with that piece.
So Julie, let's talk about your particular role as artistic director. You came up as a dancer. Did you see your role as an artistic director? Moving into that, you've got dual roles in your company with a CEO and an artistic director. How does all that work with your particular position?
So heading a small contemporary dance organization with two staff people, and we have a part-time staff person now, so hooray. But yes, Andreas Butcher really handles more of the administrative side of it, but he has a dance background. He was a dancer also, so he definitely has an eye for artistic things as well and has artistic input. Me as an artistic director, I'm an artistic director that doesn't choreograph, except for schedules, and you know how hard that is.
Oh, yes.
So I choreograph schedules, but I don't do any steps on stage. I'm like the party planner. I try to get the right people to the party, and then the party takes off, right? So if you go to a party and you have the right ingredients there, then you as a host or hostess, you don't have to do anything, it just sort of happens. So I try to get the right people to the party and then know when I need to step out of the way, which is most times. And then if I need to, there was a spill, then I come in and clean it up.
One of the interesting things that I've heard the dancers talk about, your dancers, was the audition process that they went through. And this wasn't just coming in and dancing and then you make a cut and you have a few more and they dance and you make another cut. But you actually have them do things like write essays, you want to know about them as a person. Talk to us about that audition process and how you go about selecting the dancers.
Okay, I'm a sucker for a good semicolon. If someone uses a semicolon
well, aren't we
appropriately,
all, of
oh my
course.
gosh, so good. Once again, I think I've been doing this for a while. To go back to a previous question, so I never, as a little kid growing up, or even as a dancer, thought, oh yes, one day I'm going to be the artistic director. I never thought that. However, I've always enjoyed nurturing dancers, and I think that it's a really important way and chance for me to give back. I was very fortunate in my dance career. And so that if I can help someone achieve part of their dream, then I've done my job. So yes, the audition process, really, you are looking for, it's only 6 dancers as we talked, so everyone has a lot of responsibility. Not only physically being present in the studio, being able to be a good collaborator and contributor, but also socially. They need to be able to take responsibility. This is not school. This is a professional job where you have responsibility to people beyond the circle. People are counting on you. So you need to be able to be organized and to be thoughtful about taking the me to a we. And that seems like just inverting one letter, but really it's a lot more than that. So it takes a certain kind of person that is interested in being part of that kind of community versus just being a me. If you want to just be a me, this is probably not the right place for you.
Yeah, and I'm curious about how you pick that, because when you're looking at dancers, whether it's a group or you're narrowing it down, is there something that sparks in you that says that's the one, or this is a dancer, or is it something that as you watch them and learn about them more, that it sort of grows on you? How does that process work?
You know, it's funny that you asked me that right now. I just got an email from a dancer we worked with formerly before Dance Work Chicago, and he is in a major international contemporary dance company. And they were just having an opening, and he sent an email, which was really lovely, and just said, you know, if you hadn't have believed in me that day, I wouldn't be here. And I remember him specifically. We were in a very, very crowded audition. There were not enough bars for everyone, and I had to stand, and people were holding on to chairs. And so I remember standing on his chair and looking at him and going, he's the one. I just knew it. And we went through the whole audition, and we, you know, excused people, and the group got smaller and smaller and smaller, and I was like, he's still the one. And he was the one. But that doesn't happen all the time. You know, it's just like walking through a group of people. Sometimes you're like, that's the one. Whatever that means, right?
Yeah.
And then other times, like, you get to know each other. And when you get through that getting to know you process, sometimes you become closer and you say, yes, we're on the same page. And other times you're like, oh, not so much.
Lots of different types of dance companies, and each of them have some kind of a label: ballet, modern, jazz. You're defined as a contemporary company. How would you define contemporary dance?
I define it two ways, actually. One is contemporary, sort of like of the time. So we're not a, with all due respect, we're not a museum company. We're just doing the work of people that have created before. So we're not doing historical work. We're doing work of people that are currently creating. Also, I would define it as in sort of in dance terms as a blend of styles. So it's not just a single genre, like we're not ballet, even though we do a lot of ballet and we train in ballet. I would never call us a ballet company. There are certain jazzy elements of what we do, but we're definitely not a jazz company. Modern companies also have a certain connotation. I don't think that we're that either. So contemporary feels like we take from a lot of different sources. We've done pieces that are sort of African dance influenced. We've done pieces that are more balletic. We've done pieces that have a street element to them. So it feels like it's what's happening now. We want to try to be part of that and try to support that somehow.
Final question. I like to ask this of folks in the dance world. What is it in your mind about dance that makes us human, that separates us from each other as human beings, because we all bring our own particular experience into it? But describe for me in your mind the art form of dance and what is it about dance that makes it so special?
Okay, I have to say first that I'm a big sports fan. I love sports. And so you see so much dance in sport. Mm-hmm. Some of it's choreographed, some of it's improvised, some of it's celebratory, some of it's a dance of anguish. So you see in something that's a really big part of American culture, you see dance, but we don't call it dance, we call it sports. We call it a play. We call it a pattern, but really it's dance, because it's synchronized, it's movements in space and time, or it's movements relative to an emotion. So for me, I think, you know, what makes us human, right, is emotion. Isn't that one of the things that really separates us, besides the finger things and all that kind of stuff, which I can't get into now? But I think it's the emotion. And I think one of the things that emotion does is it has an immediate impact on the body, whether it's like tension or relaxation or just a joyful jump and release. And so you take that a little bit further, and it's dance. But even in that, like, instantaneous reaction or response to something, that's movement. And I would still call that dance.